For the first time since 1972, a crewed mission is prepared to leave low Earth orbit. 4 astronauts are strapping into a capsule that will attempt to break humanity's 50-year tether to the planet. The Space Launch System stands 98 meters tall. At liftoff, it must generate 8.8 million pounds of thrust to overcome its own mass and push into the sky. 4 RS-25 engines throttle up at the base of the core stage, burning through liquid propellant to create a shockwave intense enough to shake the Florida coastline. Inside the capsule, the crew feels the physical toll of the ascent, intense high-frequency vibrations, and the crushing pressure of multiple G-forces as the rocket pushes through the atmosphere. This is a controlled, sustained explosion. It is the minimum energy required to conquer Earth's gravitational grip. As the rocket clears the atmosphere and the boosters fall away, the chaos of the launch ends. The roar of the engines is replaced by total silence. Orion is now in a temporary holding pattern. It follows a highly elliptical high Earth orbit, allowing the crew to verify every system before departing for deep space. This is the Orion capsule, Integrity. It is the only pressurized environment for the 4-person crew as they prepare to move into the void. This orbit provides a few hours of relative safety, a brief pause before the trajectory carries them past the point of no return. To reach the Moon, the spacecraft must execute the translunar injection burn. This maneuver provides the velocity needed to violently break out of Earth orbit. Orion's main engine fires for exactly 5 minutes and 50 seconds. The burn consumes roughly 1,000 pounds of fuel, propelling the 58,000-pound capsule onto a 4-day, 230,000-mile outbound trajectory. The European service module now serves as the vehicle's mechanical heart. It provides all breathable air, water, and electrical power for the duration of the transit. With the TLI burn complete, the crew is entirely reliant on the service module for survival in an environment that cannot support life. Deep space presents a thermal challenge. Without an atmosphere to distribute heat, the sun roasts one side of the spacecraft while the side in shadow freezes. To maintain temperature, the flight computer begins a passive thermal control maneuver. The spacecraft rotates slowly along its longitudinal axis in a continuous barbecue roll. This rotation never stops. For the astronauts looking out through Orion's 4 small windows, there is no fixed horizon. As the ship turns, background stars appear to warp and streak across the glass, creating a time-lapsed effect of swirling star trails against the blackness. These circular star patterns are a physical record of the transit. Every rotation affirms that the crew is drifting further away from any planetary reference point. On Flight Day 6, the spacecraft reaches the lunar sphere of influence. Here, the gravity of the Moon becomes the dominant force shaping the trajectory. Lunar gravity acts as an invisible slingshot. As the capsule crosses this threshold, its speed increases, pulling it toward the lunar far side. The Moon now fills the window, a heavily cratered expanse, appearing the size of a basketball held at arm's length. Orion is diving toward the surface. The flight path is set to skim just 4,000 miles above the desolate landscape. The crew is no longer drifting in the void. They are now actively falling toward a massive alien world. To complete the loop, Orion must pass behind the Moon. This puts 2,000 miles of solid rock between the crew and their home planet. As the capsule approaches the lunar horizon, communication links begin to fail. Radio signals from Earth cannot penetrate the bulk of the Moon. The high-speed laser link severs first. All telemetry, video feeds, and voice communications with mission control drop out. The final view from the cabin window is the Earth set, the crescent Earth dipping below the jagged lunar horizon. For the next 40 minutes, 4 humans will drift in total isolation, passing through the silence of the Moon's far side. 4,000 miles above the lunar far side, the Orion capsule slips into the shadow of the Moon. This initiates a planned communications blackout. Because the physical mass of the Moon stands between the spacecraft and Earth, the radio signals from NASA's Deep Space Network are completely blocked. As the crew drifts through this silence, they have officially traveled further from Earth than any humans in history. surpassing the record set by the Apollo 13 mission over 50 years ago. The isolation ends as Orion arcs back toward the near side. Mission Control reacquires the spacecraft's telemetry, confirming the crew and the systems are healthy after their time in the lunar shadow. Successfully navigating this window of silence validates the spacecraft's ability to operate independently. It proves that both the onboard life support and the automated flight systems can maintain a crew in deep space without constant intervention from the ground. With communications restored, the crew activates the O2O optical system. Unlike standard radio frequencies, this technology uses infrared lasers to transmit data back to Earth. The bandwidth allows for a massive transfer of information. Operating at 260 megabits per second, the laser link can beam down the equivalent of 100 high-definition movies during the 10-day flight. This laser system allowed for the immediate return of high-definition imagery, like this shot of the blue Earth rising over the cratered lunar horizon as the crew emerged from the far side. But the period of lunar observation is brief. As Orion clears the moon, it enters a free return trajectory, where Earth's gravity takes full control of the flight path. For the next 4 days, the spacecraft continuously accelerates as it falls down a gravitational well, eventually reaching a velocity of 24,000 miles per hour. The mission is now a high-stakes physics problem. To land safely, the capsule must find a way to manage an immense, lethal buildup of kinetic energy before it hits the ocean. At an altitude of 75 miles, Orion slams into the discernible atmosphere at Mach 30. Because the capsule is unaerodynamic, it creates a massive bow shockwave. This violently compresses air until it ignites into a sheath of superheated plasma. Temperatures inside the shockwave spike to 10,000 degrees Celsius, roughly twice as hot as the surface of the sun. This plasma sheath creates a second radio blackout. For 6 minutes, the superheated gas physically blocks all communication between the astronauts and Mission Control. During this window, the crew is entirely dependent on automated physics. Only the thermal protection and the programmed trajectory can keep them alive as they pass through the most violent phase of the return journey. Protecting the cabin from the 3,000-degree surface heat is the job of the AvCoat heat shield. It is an ablative barrier designed to slowly burn away and carrying the thermal energy away from the capsule. But even with a functional shield, the capsule still faces the problem of its high-velocity approach. To slow down safely, the Orion capsule uses aerodynamic lift. By shifting the center of gravity, engineers force the ship to fly tilted, creating lift. The computer fires thrusters to rotate the capsule. Shifting this lift vector left, right, or up extends the flight path to avoid a direct vertical plunge. This steering stretches the deceleration out over several minutes. It effectively reduces the physical force on the crew from a potentially fatal 100 Gs down to just 3.9 Gs, which safely presses them back into their seats. Aerodynamic steering transforms a fiery, high-speed descent into a controlled and survivable braking maneuver. At an altitude of 28 miles, the capsule clears the plasma layer. Static gives way to clear voice and telemetry signals as Mission Control reestablishes contact. With the heating phase over, the mechanical braking begins. Pyrotechnics deploy a series of drogue and pilot parachutes to catch the thick lower atmosphere and stabilize the descent. Finally, 3 massive main parachutes violently unfurl. They slow the capsule from over 100 miles per hour to just 17 for the water impact. Orion splashes down safely in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego, where U.S. Navy recovery teams are already positioned to retrieve the crew. Successfully surviving this 3,000-degree return validates the thermal and mechanical engineering required for humans to return to the lunar surface. It confirms that the heat shield and life support systems are ready to support the long-term exploration of the Moon and Mars. Thank you for watching this 2-part look at the return of Artemis. If you enjoyed the deep dive into the physics of reentry, please like the video and subscribe for more. And as always, keep looking up.